Alright everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And today it's going to be a little bit different. There's a hodgepodge of articles they sent in and they wanted my opinion on it. So we're going to jump around a lot. The first wave, well, that was about voting. The second wave, that was about the pill. Double wah. The third wave, it was about securing more rights than men. What does the fourth wave look like? Find out and arm yourself against the war for your soul and this country. You need these books here. Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism, Volumes 1 and 2. They're on sale now. Click on the link below in the description, because if you save masculinity, you're gonna wind up saving the world. What we have here is the weaponizing of immigrants. Basically, this is a new tactic of the new type of war that we're facing. They're using our own compassion and so forth against us. Now, this has taken place on our southern border, and it has been used in Europe as well. And basically what you do is you flood the other person's country with individuals who are going to take up a lot of resources, are going to add instability to the receiving country, and you know, you're effectively waging a war of attrition, except you're not marching your soldiers into said country to fight. You are just basically taking down the obstacles and building the lanes to basically force an invasion. They're talking about what's going on here in Europe and the migration problem. Some of these countries said, fuck it, we're not doing this, and they locked their borders down and they built fences because they fucking work. Okay? And unfortunately, the current dictator shit that we have at the top, because let's face it, he was installed. They want this to happen here. So in my opinion, the people at the top who are allowing this to happen at our southern border are basically traitors. This is just a new way of waging war, and you can hide behind excuses like, well, we got to look out for our fellow man and what have you. Now here in this country, we got veterans living in the street, but people coming in illegally into this country are getting all of the welfare and unemployment and medical and what have you, and some of them are getting put up for free. Well, it's not free, we're paying for it. Like I said, this is being used as a new form of warfare. Be prepared to see it again and again until we have countries out there saying fuck this, throwing up borders and enforcing those borders at gunpoint. There, I said it. Now, I mentioned this before in another video. Now, this next one here has got me kind of concerned. And we're going to see this moving forward from both the left and right here in this country. If the Mexican drug cartels are using drones to basically assassinate their rivals, intimidate politicians, and kill judges, that's just a matter of time before we see that here. Okay? This is very easy to do. Alright, this particular drone here, I think it'll carry
I think 8 ounces. You know, it doesn't sound like much, but if you use a high explosive ball bearings to act as shrapnel, you can literally tape that to the bottom of the drone with a detonation activation switch. It could be contact, or it could be command detonated. And you simply fly it over the car of the individual you want to get, land it, you know, where on the roof, wherever you think your target is in the car. It will detonate. It will throw those ball bearings down below it, right through the top of that car, because let's face it, most of the cars that are produced today have almost no protective qualities ballistically for anything. And boom, there you go. All right, you are very vulnerable in a car. We're probably going to see more of this, just so you guys know. All right, now you can read this for yourself. You can go on Amazon and you can buy all kinds of different types of drones. Yes, you got to have a license to fly them. But let's face it, if you are flying the drone and you're sending it on a one-way trip, do you really care if said drone is ever recovered? I'm just asking for a friend, because you pretty much don't. Alright, this next one here, and this is really, you know, this one hits home for me. And I had to face this same problem with soldiers, female soldiers, in the civil affairs units I operated. Now, my last, I think from 2008 to 2018, is roughly 10 and a half, 11 years. I was AGR, which stands for Active Guard Reserve, and I was basically an Army Reserve soldier serving active duty time, and I was a training NCO, which basically means I was responsible for building the training schedules, reserving ranges, putting together classes and training plans, and so forth, and running down all the resources needed to make that happen. In every civil affairs unit, you know, I was a member of, or I was the acting first sergeant for, which was quite a few, we would have female soldiers that would mysteriously get pregnant before a deployment. So let's say the worst I saw was we had, and there was like 15 females. They came down on the list to deploy. We had 2 or 3 of them immediately go on profile for, you know, whatever woodjamajiggy on their body was broken, thus making them non-deployable. You know, once you come down on a profile, you have a certain amount of time to come off profile, and a certain amount of time to get up to standard, or you're going to go to a fit for duty. All right, and that usually takes anywhere from 12 months to 18 months to make happen. And it's very, it's somewhat rare for people to get basically put out of the service for a fit for duty, especially when they're hurting for personnel. You know, the Navy is putting these women on ships. And, you know, listen, you're going to put young women and young men in the same vicinity. There's going to be some upgrading going on. And, you know, women are they're going to piss hot for being pregnant. And once they're pregnant, you go on an automatic profile. You're basically on desk duty until you have the kid and you come back from your paternity leave, and then you have, I believe, 6 months to get up to standard. You got to ask yourself a question here. Okay, when you put one of these people, male or female, into a duty position, basically take these young people out of high school, you take them to a base, You condition them physically and mentally for the job. Get them ready. Then you send them to training, and you train them to do the job. And some of the positions within the Navy are very technical and require a lot of training. That's expensive. Then you put them on the ship to do their job, to get back some value on that investment. You push off from the shore, you go out to do your mission, and boom, 16 out of every 100 Navy women are basically reassigned off the ship because they piss hot for being pregnant. So now you're short one person to do that job. And, yeah, why did you put that kind of money into their training to begin with? I have no idea. But typically, if you, like, every time I went to any training for the Army, like when you go to Ranger School, you have to have X amount of time after you complete Ranger School in the service. Otherwise, they're not going to invest the time and money into you to send you to the training. It was the same for Special Forces and Airborne and virtually everything. Okay, I believe most of the stuff, like Ranger School, when I went, I needed to have, I believe it was 18 months of retainability when I got the slot to go to Ranger School. I remember I had to extend for it. I don't know. What are we going to do when half the force are women that do not meet the combat standard, and when you actually need them to do their job, 20% of them get out of doing that job by simply getting pregnant? Which, when you're a young woman, it's not that difficult. You just take out all the obstacles, which is basically the goalie and the two defensemen in that game. And, you know, one's going to go by the goalie into the net every time. And, you know, there is rumblings out there that women are going to be required to register for the draft. Now, you know, there's a very simple way to get around this. If you're a young lady and you want to go in the Navy and they train you for a specific job, when you show up to get on ship, you also get an IUD, and then you don't have this problem. Now, I'm sure they'll complain, and, you know, it's not fair, and blah, blah. It's a goddamn military. All right, you're there for a very specific reason. And getting knocked up is not one of them. Just saying. All right, we're going to move on to the final subject here. And this one is actually giving me a little bit of hope. If you guys have been paying attention in the media, Disney basically got their first round of getting their nuts kicked up into their throat when they didn't make earnings. They did not meet projections at all. Okay, now this was also accompanied by a list of the Disney Plus shows that they are going to move forward here and try to, you know, make it more profitable. All right, now the rumor is they extended Kathleen Kennedy's contract for another 3 years, and she's done such a great job recycling old plot lines and their woke bullshit. They've literally destroyed that franchise, and I mean, it was such a slam dunk when they bought it. 30 years of fans came along with the franchise, and they basically told those fans to fuck off. And they're paying for it. Black Widow, I don't think that one broke even. Shang-Chi, I think that one lost money. In fact, I know Black Widow did lose money because they had to come out of pocket to pay the star, what's her face, the hot looking chick, because it was not in her contract that there would be a split release of the movie, and it is what it is. Now, moving forward, I am not going to basically pay any money to see any movies that have any woke horse shit in them whatsoever. It's just, I am not going to reward these companies with my time and money. All right, now we're going to go down this list a little bit. I'm just going to skim through it. I'm not going through the entire thing. Perhaps Blake and I could do this in more detail down the road. But they go right down here, the list, you know. You got the Ice Age. Okay, I mean, that was good. In the past, I took my kids to go see those. They liked them. Sneakerella, that's a kid thing. All right, The Proud Family. I'm sure that one doesn't sound that woke, does it? Cheaper by the Dozen, a remake. That's actually fairly common. Usually something when it gets around 15 years old, it's ripe for a remake. 20 years plus is usually when they start doing stuff like this. A lot of these don't really jump out at me. And Miss Marvel. I don't know about you, but I never saw the first Captain Marvel, and I will not be watching this one either. Now, Prey from the Predator franchise. This one interested me. I just need to see a couple of previews, and then I can make a decision. The Princess. Well, okay, we already know what that's about. Hocus Pocus 2. The first one was okay. I really don't have a problem with making another one. Pinocchio, that's been remade a bazillion times. Zootopia, Roderick Rules, Cars on the Road. Moon Knight looked a little interesting as well. Okay, She-Hulk. There is a She-Hulk comic book. Did I read it? Occasionally I did, but it didn't really hold my interest. And the same goes here. All right. Now, Willow, a remake of Willow. I remember the other... I wonder if this is a remake of the one that they made in the 80s, because I really like that. So we'll see. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have no idea what this is going to look like. But if there's woke shit in it, I will not be viewing this. Now, am I going to come out of pocket to pay for Disney Plus? No. It's not going to happen. All right. Yeah, you can look right here. I mean, this is not the lineup of things they need to do to bring Disney back up to profitability. I'm just going to say that right now. They are not doing well in their movies. Their parks aren't making money. Mainly because of the lockdowns. We'll see what happens when and if they ever come off this whole lockdown horse shit. But, the jury's still out. Now, when I film this, I have just come across the news that I believe it's the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has permanently shut down the vax mandate. We don't know if it's going to be taken up to the Supreme Court or if the Supreme Court's even going to hear it. Because I'm going to be honest, it's straight up unconstitutional. You're basically being treated like a barn animal that they can just line you up and inject you with whatever they want, and it'll be done for your own good. Now, historically, when any government has ever done anything for the sole purpose of for your own good, never worked out. All right. So this is my lair for today. Hopefully you guys find it somewhat interesting. I was asked for my opinions on these subjects. Keep sending me, the links, and I will do more shows like this.